Welcome to Arville Castle in Belgium. Set on a stunning family estate, it's the perfect place for one of the toughest legs in the series. Expect dogged determination, real drama and fierce competition from the world's very best riders. This is eventing reinvented. This is Event Rider Masters.
Leg 3 of the 2019 Event Rider Masters series is located here just outside of Namur at the 400-year-old Arville Castle. Home to the Leavitt family, it really does offer a spectacular setting for all three phases of the competition. Yesterday was all about the dressage and the show jumping. Today, all about the cross country, and with a lineup that includes 6 former leg winners, 7 different nations and 2 former series champions, including the 2018 victor Chris Burton, who actually topped the podium here 12 months ago. We're in for a real treat. We will be bringing you all of the action here in Arville. We hope that you will stay with us because it promises to be quite the finish to leg 3 of the 2019 Event Rider Masters series. Wherever in the world you are joining us from, a very warm welcome. The sun is shining. It is hot, hot, hot here in Belgium, and we have got a really big afternoon of competition for you. I'm delighted to say Laurent Bousquet joining me in the studio, coach of the Japanese eventing team. Big year coming up for you next year. We're delighted to have you with us and look forward to hearing your thoughts.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
And also Dan Byrne from Echo Ratings. We've dragged you out of your corner.
It's good to be back, Nicole.
It is good to have you back in the studio, and we're going to hear all about what it takes to win here in Arville.
I mean, for me, I think it's, look, we're going to have a very tough jumping track, and that's been proven over, like 193 people have taken on this course, Nicole. We're just over a 50% jumping clear. I think of some of those big names last year, Michael Young, Mark Todd, Tom McEwen. You know, this is no guarantee that we're going to see jumping clears, and that doesn't even take into account the time. So for me, time and jumping, actually it comes out as one of the toughest tracks in Europe when we put those together. I think we've got a really big test for our riders. And in terms of the series, we've got a huge moment here in Arville because we will be approaching the halfway stage of the competition. We'll come on to that in just a second, but yesterday it was all about the dressage, all about the show jumping and the coloured poles, and it was quite the day.
Arville Castle sets the stage for leg 3 of the Event Rider Masters as the world's finest horses and riders arrive in Belgium for one of the toughest events of the 2019 series.
I absolutely love it here in Arville. I was here last year and had a great run. Pebbles Quick Look is on great form. Hopefully she can perform well.
Vulana's in great form. She can be strong in all 3 phases. She is a very talented and experienced horse, and very much looking forward to getting going.
Really excited to be here. De Capo, he's been brilliant all year, apart from at Tattersall. You know, he redeemed himself at Bramham for finishing second to Gemma, so hopefully we can turn the table and we can be on top and she can finish second.
Marks proved difficult to earn in the dressage, the judges demanding the very best performances from the field. Last year's Arville winner Chris Burton put himself in a strong position to retain his title on quality purdy, the pair scoring 29.7 for their test. Fellow Australian Bill Leavitt, who also scored a podium finish here last year, followed suit with an excellent test on Shannondale Titan, matching his compatriot's score of 29.7 to share second place after dressage. But it was 2017 Event Rider Masters champion Gemma Tattersall and Quick Look who impressed the judges the most during the opening phase.
The score's definitely coming in for Gemma Tattersall as well. She will be our new leader.
The pair earned a 28.8 for their test to lead the pack by 0.9 penalties, going on to show jumping.
I felt she went absolutely beautifully. She was light in the hand. She did every single thing I asked. I'm not entirely sure what the judges are after. Yeah, grumpy judges, I feel.
An intense arena awaited the field, with course designer Wilfred Thebes posting a series of tricky questions on a tight track. Bill Leavitt and Shenandoah Titan added 1.2 time penalties to their dressage score, leaving the door open for Tim Price and Wesco. A foot-perfect clear saw the Le Moulin winner climb into third on the live podium. Reigning Arville champion Chris Burton and Quality Purdy kept the pressure on the podium places with their smooth, clear show-jumping performance, the Australian finishing the phase in second. But dressage leaders Gemma Tattersall and Quicklook held their nerve in the second phase, jumping clear to maintain their top spot on the live leaderboard going into the cross-country.
Gemma Tattersall, the 2017 Series champion, takes on Chris Burton, the 2018 Series champion. 28.8. Gemma Tattersall is our leader overnight.
She's such a cool little horse, and it's so lovely to have her back competing at this level so well. Sometimes with her, it's not always to make the time. If I rush her, sometimes she can have her front rail, so I have to just ride it carefully, let's just say. So I knew I could take a stride out here to this double. And just be careful coming into the treble at the end. So yeah, it was quite well thought out.
Well, this is how the leaderboard looks after two of the three phases of competition. Gemma Tattersall, Quicklook the fifth, out in front, but only just ahead of Chris Burton and Quality Purdy. Chris, of course, the defending champion here in Arville. Tim Price looking for his first Event Rider Masters win, and other notable names in that top 10. Laura Collett, De Capo, ones to keep an eye on. Tim Lips, news coming through that he has withdrawn from the competition. Unfortunately, Tim not feeling too well today, so he has withdrawn. And Dirk Schrader also withdrawing, Designer 10, after the horse didn't feel quite right in the show jumping yesterday. So those two will not be coming forward to the cross country. Others a little bit further on down the leaderboard, Alex Bragg and Alcatraz, watch out for them in the jumping. Izzy Taylor, unlucky to have two down with Von Berner Lancer, and real disappointment for Sarah Cohen and Treason with those 3 poles down for the Event Rider Masters stalwart. So that is how the standings look as things sit at the moment. 2 of the 3 phases. We're going to talk about how influential the cross-country is a little bit later on, Derm. But in terms of the dressage, we're very, very tight in the standings. And there was perhaps a little bit of disappointment yesterday. Yeah, I always think it's interesting. I think people were coming out and talking about the scores being higher than normal. But look, when we ran the numbers on it, it was 3.9, so almost 4 marks higher than we expected it to be. But actually, that stayed across the board. We compared the morning session with the afternoon session, and both were actually the exact same. Both 3.9s above. So if everybody was 4 marks better, we would probably have happier people, but not necessarily any change. I don't think it's had an influence on the competition in any real sense. And it is just meaning that we have no room for error on the cross country when we come forward this afternoon. Lauren, you watched the show jumping yesterday. It was perfectly jumpable, but there were plenty of problems in there as well.
Yeah, it was a big course. Something like 130, 135. Very technical. The arena, the surface is very good, but we see many faults everywhere. So, yeah, it was tough. How did that rate, Derm, in terms of previous show jumping rounds here in Arville? Almost the exact same as last year. And what's interesting is that for me, the challenge of Arville is going to come today. So it's one of the easier in terms of the jumping venues at the show jumping. 41% yesterday, 39% last year. Your average in an Event Rider Masters leg is 25%. So you normally see about 1 in 4 jump clear. We're a little bit higher than that here for the last couple of years. And in terms of the Echo Ratings Eventing Prediction Centre in partnership with SAP, before the competition, it had Gemma Tattersall, Quicklook as the hot favourites. Is that still the case, or has it changed? No, it's changed. It actually that flipped almost on the dressage. So Quality Purdy, we were wondering how close he would get, but I think on the clear round and on the dressage, Chris Burton is now favourite for this competition. They're almost head to head, as you can see on the points, but that little bit of speed is probably what's pushing him up. It's 50-50 between the 2 of those. So 30% is on Chris and 22 on Gemma. So over 50% for the 2. But what's really interesting is the next few behind them. So both the Prices and Bill Leavitt all on 12%. So I'd be very surprised if our winner doesn't come from those 5. I think it's a head-to-head in terms of 2 people with good speed, and that's Gemma and Chris. And actually, if Chris Burton defends his title, or even if he just gets on the podium here this weekend, this is going to be huge in terms of the series, because if we look at the series leaderboard,
this is how things stand, because Laura Collett is joint top with Michael Young. Michael Young doesn't come forward, so Laura Collett looking to extend her lead and fend off a very strong challenge from Chris Burton. He's ahead of Laura in the leg leaderboard, so we've got to keep an eye out for her. Then a little bit further on down the order, you've got the likes of Sarah Cohen, who can pick up good points here. She'll be second out on course. So we'll be watching out for her as one to keep a very close eye on. Now, Dan, we can put the series for a second. This leg, we're heading towards the halfway stage, is a huge moment. Is it a bit of a Laura Collett, Chris Burton showdown here?
In terms of the series, I don't think so. I mean, it's a nice story. Maybe I should say yes, but in terms of the series, I don't think so. Because while, if you remember 2016, Oliver Townend, it was those last 3 legs, all podium finishes in his last 3 legs. That was what really drove him to victory. I think there's still plenty of room in this for someone, even if it's not either of those today. What I would say is Chris Burton last year picked up his big series points here with that victory on Polystar, and he never looked back. He has the horsepower to, if he decides he's targeting this, which I expect he is.
He wants to defend that title.
Yeah,
make no mistake.
I think if he picks up big points today, you let him get ahead, almost like we're going to see in the cross country. If you let him get ahead, he's very hard to catch. So from a series point of view, you'll be hoping it's not Chris, but I think you're up against it. I think this is a big one.
But it is important to say there's a number of other names. We've already mentioned Sarah Cohen, but the likes of Izzy Taylor, Janelle Price, that again, they're on the series leaderboard. They can pick up big points here this weekend.
Absolutely, and I think you can even go further than that, because Laura Collett has to just pick up series points. She has to stay in the hunt here. But you can go down very quickly. You're not far behind with Janelle and Izzy, as you say, both with big strings. But there's a wide range of them. Even Molly Summerland is there, and Bella Innes-Kerr. They've both picked up points, so I still think wide open.
Wide open. Well, we will watch this space. One man who was on the series podium 12 months ago, he's in a podium position here in Arville this weekend, looking for his first Event Rider Masters leg win. They're the fan favourites, Tim Price and Wesco.
I first started riding back when I was 7 years old. We just moved from the city in Christchurch out into the countryside. We had some ponies in the paddock, so I jumped on them and started galloping around basically. The point that I realised horses were, the thing that I wanted to do and to excel at, sort of came along in my mid-20s, I would say. I did start to realise within myself that I had the ability and the situation where I could go further and further. So from that point on, things have sort of climbed up nicely, and here we are today. Riding has become, I guess, it's our life. It's what we do. So it is really important, but it's not just the riding. I love horses for everything that they represent, but it's also the ability to pursue your competitive spirit through a channel, and the channel for us is horses. Wesco, he's just one of these unique horses that don't come around every day. His trajectory to the top was rapid. He got to advanced level with ease, earning a 4-star along the way. And where things started to take a bit of a downward turn for us was 2016. We were preparing for Kentucky horse trials in America in the spring of 2016, and he had a little injury. That injury not only put us out of Kentucky contention, but out of Olympic selection contention. So that was really disappointing, because he had the likes of the Olympic Games written all over him. Something that majorly compounded that was his owner at the time, the late Christina Knudsen. She actually passed away with a rare form of cancer. So that was a massive blow to her friend's family, to the whole situation. It was a bit of an unknown time. It was over 2 years before I knew I was going to be able to get him back and get going again. Yeah, just the not knowing was really tough to live with, considering he was the horse that forged the early part of my career, and that was like my best mate. He really is. So it was a really tough time, but a great phone call at the end of that time to hear that he was coming back my way. He's just an out and out special horse. There's obviously a really tight relationship that I have with him. We get on very, very well. So he's got this almost human-like way of thinking about things and presenting himself, and he's very, very clever at charming everyone around him. and along with that nature, he knows when to deliver performance. This year is going to be exciting. The Event Rider Masters series is going to feature for him quite a lot because he needs the atmosphere. He's a horse that likes to compete. Next year we'll nail down a podium at the Olympics, and whatever happens after that will just be for us and for everyone else to wait and see.
They really are absolute favourites, and I know there are many people who would love to see them on the podium here this weekend. Can Tim Price defend that third place spot that he has going out onto the cross country? Can he build it? Well, we'll be watching this space to see and find out. We'll be creeping closer to the edge of cross country very shortly, but you haven't just got us here in the studio giving you your live commentary. Down there on the ground and at the podium getting all of the reaction is Charlotte.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you. Yes, as you say, I am out here on the course. The tension is really building here. This is a tough technical track. We're in the furthest part of the course here of this huge estate. In this field alone, there's 4 or 5 very difficult questions. It's going to require total focus and bravery and really test the partnership between horse and rider. I'm going to be at the podium later, chatting to the riders, and that's where the excitement really starts to build as we find out which riders make it onto the podium, which ones get kicked off again before the final 3 for Arville 2019 are announced.
Oh, we always love the cross country. It is brilliant excitement. And Arville, you've mentioned it's a tough track here. Just give us the echo ratings numbers as to why that is.
Look, you're keep it very simple, Nicole. If we look at the history of this back to 2012, when this class was here, we've had 193 different combinations take on the track. Only 100 have jumped clear. So 93 of them have gone out here and not come back with a clear jumping ground. That's your first one in terms of jumping. The second big one is that only 5 of the 193 have made the time. 2 of them came last year in this class, Polly Starr with Chris Burton and Treason with Sarah Cohn, who we're going to see this morning. I would say, Nicole, one of the key ones, use Sarah, Cohn and Treason as your benchmark. If Sarah gets the time, I think there's a couple of others here who could do it. If Sarah doesn't get the time, I think it will be very tough for the whole field.
And she was one of only 2 to do it 12 months ago. The other being Chris Burton, who is one of the hot favourites here this weekend. Laurent, you've walked the course. What were your thoughts on Rudiger Schwartz's track?
I would say, well, that's a tough course, as Dan said, designed by Rudiger Schwartz, who's a very good course designer. And especially the first question comes very quickly, the first water, which will be very technical. And I think we'll see more or less after this, which is number 4, which what's going on after the first question, the water.
The first water. Well, it's a brand new water complex here. We're going to take a closer look at just what is in store for our riders on the cross country.
For leg 3 of the Event Rider Masters, we come to Arville in Belgium, and Rudiger Schwartz sets a track of 3,539 metres to be covered inside 6 minutes and 13 seconds. After the first few early questions, it's the SAP water at 5 that will really take their attention. In over the hanging log before the roll top B element, and then a tough corner jump from the water to complete the task. On then to fence 7, the Wilbury Wonder Pony shoulder brushes, and this tough question asks them to thread the line from a left hand to a right hand shoulder brush skinny question. At fence 10 then, they're required to splash back through the water before a step up ready for a skinny arrowhead. Into the woods at fence 11, where light and shade might play a part in the competition, before the very open Burko triple bar at 14, which sets them up for 15. The Event Rider Masters brush oxer to a very oblique corner. Finishing off this combination over another triple bar arrowhead, and they're just short of the 4-minute marker on course. Fence 18 is the Event Rider Masters yacht, and they should sail over this one, but it is trickily positioned. Coming close to home then, a big question is fence 22, a step up and bounce stride to a huge log, before finally the welcome sight of fence 25, the top spec brush roll top and the gallop to the DHL finish line to determine who will be the king or queen of the castle this weekend at the Arville Event Rider Masters.
Well, there is, as I say, quite the challenge out there for our horse and rider combinations this afternoon, and we won't know the winner until the last horse crosses the line. But one man is in charge of the cross-country track here in Arville. He's with Charlotte.
Yes, I'm here with Rudiger Schwarz, the course designer here at Arville. Rudiger, it's a very, very tough course. Congratulations. I love the course. The water has got two tricky combinations. Can you just talk us through both of them here, starting with fence 5 over here?
Yeah, the first combination comes very early. It's jump into the water over a hanging log. Then the rider must decide, do they 5 or 6 ride?
Okay, so there's a choice of 5 or 6.
Forwards to the roll top. Then they have a sharp bended line to a corner, which the horses cannot see in the beginning. Very late they see them. The best way is come with 5 and 4.
Yes.
But I think we will see some pictures with 6 and 5.
You think? And so if they're riding 5, at which point are they going to be turning? You can't see from here. It's a very, very narrow corner.
Good. The riders know the way. They walk them more times. And you must look how good is your horse in the handling.
Yeah.
And we will see some short bending and some longer later.
Then, coming back into the water for fence 10, again, another very tricky line. Come over here, Rudiger, if you can. We're just going to walk this here. Come with us, guys. So we come over here, fence 9, roll top, nice and straightforward. This is where the problems again. Tough questions.
This is a very tough question. It comes very quick after the roll top, and the horses has had some big fences, so that they have forward power. Then roll top into the water, 4, 5 strides. Then they have to bend to this step here, and they must have absolute a correct line and good control about over horse, and it's a normal stride, but the horses must be very quick with the legs.
Now, how important is it to get the jump off point at this? It's critical, isn't it? Because if you're slightly too left or slightly too right, you're going to be off.
Yeah. When the rider come to the step, they must stay on the right way. They have no time for correction. If it's not good, they have a longer route, but that costs time.
Your prediction, do you think we're going to see many run-outs at this? Horses running past the fence?
I think it will work good. With this riders, what we have here, I think it will work good.
And a very challenging course, always here at Arville. Your prediction for how many clears we might see?
Okay, we have only 15 starters. I think we will have, in time, 1 or 2.
That's tough. He's a tough guy, isn't he? Tough but fair? I'm not sure he's even that fair, actually. Rudiger, thank you so much. Absolutely fascinating talking to you. Thank you.
Okay.
Brilliant. That was fantastic.
It really is a tough cross-country track for our combinations, and this is the order in which they will be coming forward. The reverse order running of the cross-country means that we won't know the winner until Gemma Tattersall, Quick Look, the last to go. Our leaders after the first 2 phases head out on course. Sarah Cohen and Treason, Echo Ratings have already said they're going to give us a really good indication of that early time. Keep an eye out for Alex Bragg with Alcatraz as well, and Janelle Price, Fairy Dynamo. She'll be looking for good series points here with that mare that won Le Moulin in 2018. Then the top 5 in reverse order of merit, and the big names just keep on coming. Laura Collett, Bill Leavitt on the podium here last year. Tim Price, Chris Burton, the defending champion, and our leaders after the first 2 phases, Gemma Tattersall and Quick Look. Just 9 seconds on the leaderboard cover 1st to 6th place. Now, from a time perspective, you know it's going to be a time test. Rudiger says only 1, maybe 2 will make it. That isn't a lot here in Arville, is it? 9 seconds?
No, that's covering a huge amount. I think everything is to play for today. And as I say, Sarah Cohen and Treason will give us that time check. Looking at the fastest horses in the field, Nicole, if you're looking for excitement and if you're looking for something new, I don't know if you'll find it, because the fastest horse in the field on ratings, Quality Purdy, then Treason, Wesco, Fairy Dynamo and Shannondale Titan.
Well, we are now underway here in leg 3 of the Event Rider Masters in Arville. A very warm welcome, your commentary team, myself, Nicole Brown, Laurent Bousquet in the studio with also Dan Byrne from Eck Ratings. Frankie Reid-Warrilow will be our pathfinder. 6 minutes and 13 seconds is the optimum time, and 0.4 of a penalty for every second over that. So 46.4 is the starting score with My Squire Darev. This mare that is just 9 years of age, only had a couple of runs at the level previously, stepped up to 4-star level in 2018.
Well, a couple of runs, but both jumping clear. You know, 2 from 2 in terms of jumping clear. The other thing I said is Sarah Cohn in terms of a jumping test is interesting to follow. But Frankie Reid-Warrilow, 5 runs on this horse in the last 12 months and has been clear every time. I've talked about this being a jumping test. We've talked about the challenges of the first 10 fences. For me, My Squire Darev is going to give us a good idea as to some of how the others will go. You know, this is a horse who has shown very good cross-country form.
And unfortunately, running into problems, getting a bit of a reminder from Frankie. Laurent, what happened there?
To be honest, I really felt that from the beginning, the horse was a little bit behind her. You know, she didn't start really in a positive, positive rhythm. And then this log is big, spooky. Look at that. You know, wow. It's a tough moment. Yeah.
And actually, Frankie, very wise, pops her hand up, decides to call it a day. She just, I think, perhaps felt the mare's confidence go a little bit.
But as we said, you know, the first question comes very quickly, so I think the riders must really start in a very positive rhythm. Otherwise, the horses won't be really in front of them.
Well, huge disappointment for Frankie Reid-Warrilow with My Squire Darev. She knew it was a big ask for the horse here this weekend, but the mare no doubt one to watch for the future, and she's made a really mature decision, deciding to put her hand up and call it a day, save themselves for another occasion. 58% was it here last year? We'll come back to that in a second. This is where it went wrong for Frankie to start with. And the mare just put the anchors on, Laurent.
Yeah, you can really see that from the turn, you know, the horse was really behind her. And look at that. And even on the second time, she just had to kick. No. She was not into it. Anyway, look at that. Even into the water.
And the mare, very honest, actually, because she really wasn't sure about that second element and sort of got from one side to the other. But Frankie's so quick.
Good decision.
Very good decision, very mature decision. And I'm sure we'll see them back out and about again in the future. But 58% was here last year. We've had problems from the very outset.
And Nicole, I know you'll talk about my commentator's curse or Deerham's curse, whatever you call it, but I was just talking about their very good cross-country record in the last 12 months and at the level. For me, that's an indication of, you know, the early question that you've been talking about, Laurent, and this venue generally. So Sarah Cohn is going to be out next. That's going to be our next person to give us an idea. Sarah Cohn, you know, Treason, who's been at the very top level of the sport, but that won't necessarily be enough to guarantee a jumping clear. Tom Carlile in Upsilon last year. Michael Young, Oliver Town and Kilnabrad Neva, who went on to have that round at Badminton. Maxime Levio, Mark Todd Campino, another 5-star horse, and Figaro, Tom McEwen's horse, you know, who has had that big result in the Moulin. He picked up a 20 penalties here last year. So the big names aren't going to be bulletproof this weekend. It's a very, very tough track.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. If you are just joining us here in Arville, then a very warm welcome to you. It is glorious sunshine here, very, very warm weather, but we are set for an incredibly hot afternoon of competition as well. And this young lady did very well here 12 months ago. They finished inside the top 10 on that occasion, and actually were one of only 2 horses to go inside the time over Rudiger Schwartz's cross-country track. Sarah Curran and Treason come here having finished 4th in Wiesbaden. The horse absolutely loved his run in Wiesbaden. Sarah Cutty, as she's known, said to me afterwards that he just went home feeling really, really pleased with himself. So come here in very good form, and this is going to be a really good indication, Laurent, in terms of how jumpable this track is for the horses.
As I said, you know, I think the first 4 jumps, you know, will be a good indication, you know, on how the horses will cope with the first question in the water. And you can see that Sarah really started, you know, in a real much more positive canter. Look at that. Sharp turns. This big table. And then this right-hand turn just before the water.
Well, Sarah was going to go
On the log. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the water. 1, 2, 3, 4.
beautifully done.
Yeah, beautifully done.
You really did see how easy she made that look. Sarah Cohen easily clear of the SAP water at 5, A, B and C. Now, just talk us through this part of the track, Laurent, because it is a long run down and then almost a hairpin turn back on yourself to a big parallel.
Yeah, this is what will make the time difficult, because you have this long gallop, you know, and then suddenly a very sharp turn when you have really to slow down and make sure that you don't touch this pinned ox, you know. Look, and now she just has to start again. And there's another big question with 2 brushes with a really strong angle. Look at that. This is the first one.
Curving left-handed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strides. Well, very well done.
Now that's interesting, because actually Sarah, when I spoke to her earlier, said she'd walked it on the 4, but actually just having that extra degree of control, the angle is exceptionally acute there.
Yeah, and I think that we'll see, because there's a long way, you know, and then probably some riders will make the choice depending on how many clear rounds they will have before them, just on this combination. And now they just come back on the second water.
Well, we'll take a look at the clock as she comes to the Durafence roll top going into the water at 9. She'd need to be here with 3:48 left on the clock.
Just try a bit shorter. Good jump into the water. And this left turn to the bank. Always have to make sure that you can jump it. Well, very well done.
Well, Sarah Cohen, copybook through the water on both occasions. She was 10 seconds down on the clock, but I think it would be fair to say, Laurent, that you would expect almost to be a little bit down on the clock at this part of the course.
Yeah, and I would say she doesn't seem to really ride for the time, you know. Probably because she had 3 downs yesterday, so probably she... And don't forget that it's very hot today, so probably she won't really chase for the time.
And I think that's as good as any that we'll see through that. Rudiger Schwartz will be a happy man watching that.
Yeah.
Well, Sarah Cohen and Treason runs through the woods. There's a couple of fences in there. The Equicity ditch brush, the clean box splash, and there's a real sort of a dip up. You've got to climb up through the wood, up quite a steep bank. So it isn't a straight galloping section of the course, but Sarah appears out the other side, and she'll come in just a second to one of the major questions on course. The Burko triple bar.
Yeah, it's very skinny.
Talk us through this, because that is separately numbered, but it is very much related to this next combination.
And there's a big jump now down the hill. Look at that. You have to be in the corner. That's a big question as well.
And easily down the hill to that third element. Well, away goes Izzy Taylor from Burner Lancer, owned by the Lancer stud.
Well, Izzy is a fast rider as well, you know, very experienced. I think it would be good to see her around. She's not too far away when you watch the points.
And she's in 14th or 13th position coming forward, 41.0. If she can get inside the top 10, she'll pick up big series points as well. She already had that top 10 finish at Chatsworth with Spring Power in the first leg of 2019. So coming to the SAP Water in just a second, Izzy Taylor. Now this horse is inexperienced at the level, coming forward in his first run. So this will be the toughest question this horse has perhaps seen, Laurent.
Yeah, look at the water. Well, 4 strides between 8 and 5. You know. So it's always relative, you know. That's, Sarah did 5 and 4, she did 4 and 5. Anyway,
but Izzy did a very good job letting the horse just work out the best way to jump, because he a little bit off the middle combination part of the combination.
This is what is very different, you know, between the jumping and the cross country. You know, the riders must be really adaptable, you know, all the time.
We've talked about that inexperience in terms of the horse, you know, stepping forward here, in a tough place to step forward, but 177 runs for Izzy at this level, and if she jumps clear here, it'll be 100 clear jumping rounds.
That really is impressive. Now, Izzy looks like she might be setting up to go inside. Just actually the horse Oh, just having a bit of a difference of opinion there. Now, Lauren, talk us through that, because she would have crossed her tracks there. That is an A and a B, so we'll...
I think it's definitely 20 points.
Definitely 20 penalties. So Izzy Taylor carrying, we think, 20 penalties. We will wait for confirmation from the fence judge there. But Sarah Cohen, you can see the clock has turned red, so those time penalties are clocking up very quickly as she comes to the final combination. The step X triple brush and corner, easily done so, and she can kick on up the hill towards home. Quick check of the watch, and she's going to be over the time. Those penalties, as I say, do clock up very quickly, but she is clear of the last through the DHL finish line. 10.8, 11.2 time penalties for Sarah Cohen and Treason, and they are home safely. Clear jumping, but Derm, the time not as quick as we expected.
Not as quick, but I think Lauren raised a really good point in terms of, while I expected Sarah to go for it because she had talked about she knew it was a very difficult jumping track, so she did say to me, look, I do still want to be in this, I'm going to go for it. I think the one thing that we have to take into account is the heat out there as well. So we're not just looking at the track, we're also looking at the track on a particularly hot day. I think that you can probably see that on the cameras. Everybody is wearing sun hats, if you can see around. So I think that's probably part of those time penalties, Nicole.
Well, Izzy Taylor is going to have a replay for our judges down at the water. She took the flag, so the ground jury just asking to see this again.
Look,
and
this is the new rule.
This is the new 15 penalty review, so that is getting slowed down for the members of our ground jury. Do you think she's safe there, Laurent?
I would say she's clear. I would say she's inside, because you must have the neck, the shoulder, and the hunches of the horse between the flags. Yeah, I think she's inside.
Well, she's carrying the 20 penalties from the 7th, so we'll get that confirmed, but we think she's okay through the water. Izzy Taylor from Bernard Lancer carrying on to the Burko triple bar at 14. So the ground jury, I think, also looking to review where Izzy has been given her 20 penalties, so we'll confirm that for her. Ground jury, of course, well within their rights, and technology does allow them to review these now. Through the combination.
Same thing here. Since she's clear.
Well, here comes
that's
Guirec Lacoste and Esprit de la Loge on a score of 40.9 in 12th position coming forward. This is a horse that really caught my eye in the first two phases. Relatively inexperienced, only stepped up at Blenheim last year, but one that I think Guirec very excited for the future.
It's a very nice horse. He's just 9. He's young at this level. Well, Guirec has been in the Young Rider French squad. But look, that's a very good jumper. Very well ridden.
And very nicely out.
And Guirec is really a newcoming rider. And is growing up, step by step to the top level. That will be very interesting to look at him. Look,
and he looks to have set out pretty quickly as well, Laurent.
He's in a good rhythm. Look at that. It's very positive.
Well, he's going to turn back to the Van der Hagen Oxer at 6.
And as we said, look, anything is possible, on this tough track, because we'll have probably a lot of refusals. The time will be very difficult to pick up. So even him, he could be in the top 10.
Absolutely, they're a horse with a good jumping record, and we have picked.
Yeah, it took the long way, but it's not that long.
And actually, he didn't waste much time there, did he?
I tell you what, I think it's quite clever. It's quite clever, especially with this young horse.
He didn't have to spend time setting up.
Maybe he lost 2-3 seconds.
But gave the horse a really good feel through that fence.
Has a very nice gallop.
Coming back towards QC Stables now for Guirec Lacoste for France. Right.
As I was saying, a good jumping record, but only once at this level. That was Blenheim 2018. They picked up 10 time penalties on that occasion.
Turn on those, not to waste any time.
Well, here comes Izzy Taylor heading towards home. You can see the clock has turned red and the penalties are clocking up with that von Berner Lancer up the step up to the hanging log. And comes out into the Stiffex brush and corner, separately numbered. Just gives a bit of a growl to Von Berner-Lantz. Looks to have gone a little bit green and inexperienced, Laurent.
Yeah, I would say very green.
Yeah, Robin.
But anyway, you went through, but I think it's good to finish. And the horse look a bit tired anyway. No, don't forget the hit.
It is very hot, and it is mentally tiring stepping up to the level as well. Lots of questions coming thick and fast.
Yeah.
So Izzy Taylor. This was Izzy through the combination at the Wilbury Wonder Pony shoulder brushes at 7. We get this from a different angle, so this is for the ground jury.
It was a bit difficult to turn left, and she had to pull, and the horse just got on the forehands and stop on it, you know.
So basically, I think the ground jury here are looking to see if she's crossed her tracks to whether she is awarded the 20 penalties. I would say she has.
Yeah, I will do.
I think between A and B, she lost the forward movement anyway, you know, so I think it's 20 points, definitely.
Well, we will get that confirmed for you when it does come through from the ground jury, but Gireg Lecoz, Esprit de la Loge, going really well out on course. This horse giving him a super ride, coming to the Burco Triple Bar before the Event Rider Masters combination at 15.
I'll tell you what, watching the clock, I think he's fast, you know.
Well, he's about 15 seconds down.
Interestingly, he's coming out of here a little bit ahead of where Treason was. So I had Treason, I have him a couple of seconds up on Treason so far. Now, Treason did have those time penalties. We don't know what happened really in the second part of the course as to whether they were slowing, but this has certainly looked like a fast round so far.
And I'll be interested to see that Event Rider Masters corner again, because Gireg just didn't quite get the shot he wanted, I don't think, at the line he wanted at the brush corner at B. But Gireg goes on to the Alexandra Log, ditch and log at 16.
That's a coffin.
And it is a very acute angle up to that third element.
Yeah. And with the flag, you know, the red flag is in the middle of the log, so it makes it very narrow.
Now, on a clock check there, he would have been about 20 seconds down.
And that's you can just see the table, you know, it's a very big jump. And this is the old water complex. There's no water this year. This boat, okay.
Well, Sarah Cohen on the top spot of the podium for now. I'm not sure how long she'll be there, but she is our clubhouse leader at the moment with Treason. And Gireg heads out to the far side of the course, goes on to the Event Rider Masters hanging log. And
this hill is very steep and long, you know. Look, jump this log at the top.
Well, here comes Nicholas Bashkora, Lord Sostakovich, 40.1 there. Dressage did a brilliant job as first into the show, jumping, left all the poles standing for a clear round. And in 11th position coming forward. So just as we head in towards the top 10, Nicholas comes to the Wilbury Wonder Pony shoulder brush and confirmed that Izzy Taylor did pick up 20 penalties here. Nicholas taking the inside line and gets it, Laurent.
Gets it. But it was, you can see that it's very difficult because the angle is really strong. I think Gireg is not far from the end now. Yeah,
well,
look.
He's coming to the final combination. The clock has turned red, but those penalty marks are clocking up. He's kicking on towards the final fence. Sarah Cohen on a score of 57.7, so if he clears the last, then he will go to the top of the live podium. And he goes on through the DHL finish line. A really, really impressive round from this young man. 22 seconds, 8.8 time, 49.7 the score to beat.
That's a nice round, yeah. It would be, yeah, I will see the others, but I don't think maybe Chris could be inside the time.
I think you're right. I think, look, from speaking to the riders as well, one of the bits of feedback we've had is that all the time is certainly lost on the first part of the course, but there is opportunities to make that time back on the second course. Gireg certainly looked like he was travelling in the first part of the course, so for me, I think putting these together, we're looking at, as we expected, a very, very tough time test.
Yeah.
Well, Nicholas Bashkora, Lord Sostakovich, away from the water. And we'll see him in just a second. Get that confirmed for you. Well, waiting down at the start, it is Alexander Bragg. Alex with Sarah Hughes's Alcatraz. Well, Nicholas Peshkura just choosing to play it safe a few moments ago through the water, took the longer route. We might see a few do that as Alex Bragg comes forward with Alcatraz away from the start box. The winner in Jardy 12 months ago, and he set out like he means business, Laurent.
Yeah, look, he went from the two on the first jump, second as well. Yeah, the good rhythm from the beginning. And to come back to the German riders who took the long way on the second water, I think it costs something like 10 seconds to take it. It's definitely safer, but 10 seconds, it's 4 points. And at this stage, you know, it will make a huge difference. The last classification anyway.
Well, Alex Bragg, Alcatraz coming to the SAP water in just a second. They've the Devaku sheep feeder at 4 first. Really quickly round the corner. Alcatraz, relatively inexperienced at the level, only stepped up at Burnham Market this spring, jumped double clear on that occasion, but they come to the SAP water.
Picked up 14 time penalties at Burton Market, but as you say, stepping up to the level, so hard to take that as your read. But I would say, as a rider, Alex Bragg, 3 different horses in his last 3 runs, Zagreb, Hester and Quindiva, all of them clear and inside the time.
Well, Alex not hanging around, beautifully done through the SAP water with Alcatraz, and we'll get a clock check on him when he comes back through the water for the second time. Because 39.4, again, series points on the line for him. Clear of the Vanderhagen Oxer at 6.
He looks quick, you know, anyway. Yeah.
And he sets up. Swings left-handed, very tight line through there. And just rode his luck slightly at the second element.
It's clear, but it's a bit tricky moment for him. Yeah.
Well, Alex makes the long run round the back of the bank with Alcatraz. Another big parallel at 8 before he comes back to the water. Now, this is a really serious question for this horse, a horse that was actually produced over in the States by Ryan Wood and Alison Springer. Alex had the ride since the middle of last season. And talk us through this, Laurent, because we've only seen a couple going through the water the direct route.
Good jump in, nice curve to the left. Bang, one stride to the skinny. Well, very well done. What is difficult here on the first part, you know, that the first part is more or less flat, but it's very twisty. And the last part, you know, is more galloping, but it's very hilly.
Very hilly.
So I think it's one of the reasons why the time is so difficult.
Well, here is Nicholas Peshkura, Lord Sostakovich. He is clear jumping, but the time penalties are clocking up. That means that he will go behind Jurek and behind Sarah Cohen. But 20 penalties just at the end of the course. Rudiger Schwartz, so clever in his designing there. And talk us through that, Laurent, because he's gone and taken the alternative very quickly, but he just didn't seem to have his line right. The horse perhaps a little bit weary, so easy to glance off.
And you can see that I think the distance between the two elements is quite long. So, and he was under the rhythm. Maybe the horse is tired. Yeah, it looks tired. And I think it's one of the reasons he couldn't get it. You know? It was a bit too long on the corner.
Well, Lord Sostakovich completes at 69.3, and I wonder how that affected the Echo Stacks game if you're playing along at home.
Well, Nicole is always pleased when she writes questions, and I can see a big smile on her face now when she's predicted it. Well, interesting for me, guys, while we have a moment, this all appears to be playing towards Chris Burton at the moment in terms of its speed. Alcatraz was almost 10 seconds up on Treason at the SAP water.
Actually, Alex Bragg was on time as he came into that combination, so this will be a really good indication as to whether horses can keep the speed up at the latter part of the course. He's 2 minutes left to get home.
Yeah, he's the quickest, definitely.
He's 39.4, so he can afford quite a few time penalties, but he is really chasing that clock, Laurent.
Yeah. We'll see, you know, after what you call the old water complex, how he will grow up the hill. That would be interesting. See, we'll still have enough fuel in the tank, to do it. Because look at the horse. Got the ears behind. So now I think tiredness.
Well, this will be very interesting because at
Jump
the
boat. And now have a look how it's galloping.
Well, here comes our latest starter, Nick Lucy, Croon leader. Just had to work a little bit hard going into the water. Nick responding very quickly.
6 strides into between this and 6 strides as well, so that's very rated.
Well, there is Sarah Cohen up on the top of the podium. She's not going to be there for very long because Jurek Lecos is coming forward in his first Event Rider Masters leg, and he is on the podium for the time being. He is the clubhouse leader.
Yeah, and I see now on the first 4 riders, we have just 2 clear rounds.
Nick Lucy, Croon leader, coming to the angled brushes.
Look, Alexander.
As let's go in a moment to Charlotte, but here we will see Alex Bragg come home safely. We want to see the clock on him, so he is by far the fastest we have seen. He's going to pick up a few time penalties because he's only 15 seconds to get home, but he is not far away. Alex Bragg and Alcatraz, he needs to come through the final combination, and we see the drama at the end of his round. He was chasing the clock and he paid the price. Laurent.
Yeah. That's exactly what we said, previously. That he tried to pick up the time, but the horse is tired, and that's why I think he got this run out. On the last. Look at him.
And Alex will just get him safely home now. So Alex Bragg, Alcatraz, unfortunately picking up jumping penalties, but down on the podium, Jurek Lecons can stay there for a little bit longer. Is he making himself comfortable down there, Charlotte?
I think this last question.
Yeah, great, thank you.
Beautiful round. It's such a joy to watch. Does it feel as good as it looks?
Yeah, it looks really, really good. I'm very happy with him on his second 4-star, and he felt great all the way along. I just had a bit of a moment at the big corner here. I was very off the corner, but he tried very hard and he was great. I'm very happy.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
I'm not surprised he is very happy because he is currently sitting on the top of the podium. Sarah Cohen in second. Problems all round this course. We knew it was going to be tough, but we've only had the 2 clear rounds from the 6 combinations that have headed out on course. We've currently got Nick Lucy and Croon leader out on course on a score of 39.4, 10.3 penalties ahead of Esprit de la Loge and Jurek Lecos, so they can actually afford to be 25 seconds over the time to go to the top of the podium. But of course they still need to jump clear, Laurent, and that is proving troublesome.
Yeah, and I think the way the riders will manage the time and the horse fitness will be a real key on this course. And especially I think we just saw Alexander, if you go too fast, I think you pay it. You pay cash on the last question, the last corner.
You really do have to respect every fence out on Rudiger Schwartz's cross-country track. If you are just joining us, then a very warm welcome to you. It is all drama here in the cross-country. Kirsty Johnston away on course with WTTL opposition Skylord. They actually were inside the top 10 here 12 months ago. They come forward in 8th position, 39.3 their starting score. And if you are just joining us, then Laurent Bousquet and Dan Byrne in the studio with me from Echo Ratings, crunching all the numbers and we will be looking forward to this final few coming forward in the reverse order cross country. Now Kirsty comes to the SAP Water at 5 A, B and C.
Very good jump. 5 strides to the second element and 4 strides to jump out. Well, very nicely done.
The 5 strides and the 4 strides has worked really well for those more experienced horses, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But we saw different possibilities. We saw 4 and 5, 6 and 6. Really depending, how the horses jumped the first load.
Is the horse's stride length any shorter in water as opposed to dry land?
Yeah, definitely.
All clear of the Van der Hagen Oxer at 6. Kirsty Johnston comes to the Wilbury Wonder Pony shoulder brushes.
She has a very good start. You see these 2 angles.
Oh, just. That's the risky run, isn't it? Because it's such a tight line that actually horses can be a little bit put off. Now, Kirsty's going a different way.
Yeah.
Now, as long as she jumps the fences in the correct order,
compulsory section, so
then she's fine, isn't she?
It's allowed.
Is it a bit longer that way?
Probably not. But
Well,
that's we'll see.
We'll watch this space. Nick Lucy, Croon leader, going really well. This horse has given him a super ride across the country. Just needs to respect this final combination. We saw Alex Pragg caught out a few moments ago. Nick threw it safely, and the time penalties clocking up go on to the final fence. Now, the leader at the moment, 49.7, so he isn't going to top the leaderboard, but he is producing a very good clear round and should go into 3rd at the moment. Well, Croon leader Nick Lucy are home safely. Now here comes Kirsty Johnston back to the water with WTTL opposition Skylaw. Swings left-handed to the step 10
She has a
AB.
good jump on the bank. Yeah, very straight to the skinny.
And she's not wasting much time. I know she took that other route, but she obviously felt that was quicker.
Yeah, definitely. She's quite fast, actually.
Well, Kirsty Johnston will catch up with her in just a second. We're into live pictures now, so we'll catch up with her again as she comes up to the Burko Triple Bar at 14. Now, would need to be jumping this with 2 minutes and 31 on the clock, so you can tell she is a little bit down as to where she needs to be, but she's not a million miles away. Be about 10 12 seconds.
And then it's a combination of
Well, easily clear of the first 2 elements, and good shot down the hill to the 3rd element there. As Pietro Sunday Rubis de Pré away on course inside the top 7 now. 36.3 his starting score, so we're over the halfway mark. Derm, how are the jumping stats stacking up?
Exactly as expected, 57%, 4 from 7. It's almost identical to last year, 58% last year. What I would remind you of last year, some of the big names came unstuck. We're going to see the best of the best really tested here. Tom Carlile, Michael Young, Maxime Levio, Mark Todd, I told you last time, they all, only 3 from 7, yeah, that's dropped right down, that's below 50%, you're into kind of 42, 43% territory there. Nicholas Rocheur's penalties are in, yes, so 43% lower. It's going to this course is going to test the very, very best riders, and they are on their way. Think about it: Janelle Price, Laura Collett, Tim Price, Quality Purdy as well. Has he got the match practice? He hasn't been out that much. Nobody is bulletproof.
Well, Rubis de Pré a mile off, and actually Pietro Sunday did a remarkable job to save the day through there.
Yeah, because the horse was a bit behind, you know, he jumped at the log, so the 5 thrusts was quite long actually, and it has a very scary jump, you know, on the 2nd element. But look at that. But Pietro did look at that. Very good jump.
He really was.
Just leave the horse, you know, on long rein, just try to recover.
He very nearly was past the point of no return.
Balance. And he was able to jump the corner. But be careful on the 2nd water. Anyway.
Pietro showing all of his experience in this accommodation that know each other so well. Went clear cross country at the World Equestrian Games last year for Italy. Have been top 20 at the European Championships as well. Now he's another to take that slightly longer but much more flowing route.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think it's very clever. It's a good decision because coming back to the 1st water, it was a really difficult time, you know, for the horse. So I think it's good for him just to have an easy time and just to recover some confidence.
Well, Pietro heads
He used
now.
to be Michael Young's student.
Well, here comes Kirsty Johnston, clear of the last, and she is going to be our new leader, and she is going to be the fastest we've seen. 4.4 time penalties. Kirsty Johnston, brilliant from her, and another top 10 finish here in Arville.
Lead after that lovely clear around there. She's 24, quite a fast time. Mind you, the time allowed is 6:13. She's got 4.4 time fault.
So Kirsty Johnston is the one to beat. Pietro Sundai not hanging around with Rubis de Pré. Lived dangerously through the first water, but absolutely fine through the second. Clear of the big ditch and brush at the 11th.
And coming back on what Kirsty did, you know, she tried to find another way to go on the Oxa, and I think it's definitely shorter.
Well, out on course at the moment, Pietro Sundai, Rubis de Pré, course all to themselves on a score of 36.3. The clubhouse leader will be Kirsty Johnston. Schureg just on the top spot at the moment. Kirsty will be making her way to the podium in just a moment. And out on course, Pietro has 18 seconds in hand to go ahead of Kirsty.
Your average at the moment, Nicole, 9 time penalties, and that's coming from the 4 clear rounds, so we're not including the rounds with 20 penalties in that.
But Pietro?
No, the average from of the field so far. So of the rounds which have jumped clear, the average time penalties at the moment is 9.
Well, Pietro Sunday easily clear through all elements at 15. And moves on, going to the Alexandra log combination 16 A, B and C. Well, Pietro through the combination at 16. Well, Pietro, he's a minute and 23 on the clock to get home. He is down on the clock. Would need to be jumping this Event Rider Masters yacht with 1:27. Now he's got 18 seconds in hand to go ahead of Kirsty, but he's going to be very close to that. He needs to really make up a few seconds on this long galloping track. Laurent, do you think he can do that, or are we going to be pushing for Kirsty to move up another spot?
I think it will be difficult. Look at the horse. The horse looks already a bit tired going up the hill. Look at that.
That is a very steep climb up there, isn't it? Very steep and
long. And I'm afraid that at the end, yeah, he will lose time at the end.
Well, Kirsty Johnston was clear inside the time at Bramham this year. And don't forget the other person currently leading who was also clear inside the time at Bramham was Gemma Tattersall. Quick look, and they are currently in the lead. 4.4 time penalties for Kirsty. That would not be enough to keep Gemma's lead if Chris behind her was to go inside the time. But a little bit of form there, and it's an indication that maybe the time will begin to shrink as those top riders come in.
Well, Pietro Sundai, Rubis de Pré isn't going to be able to get home to go ahead of Kirsty Johnston, who is in the top spot at the moment. She's going to be heading to the top of that podium in just a second, but Pietro up the step and hanging log.
And then you have the last question, and we know that nothing is done before the second last. The skinny one and the corner one. Very well done.
Well, Pietro has really shown all of his experience with Rubis de Pré.
He's not far. Look at that.
He is going to head up to the final fence, and he should go onto the live podium. Rubis de Pré, Pietro Sundai just missing out on the top spot. He'll go second behind Kirsty Johnston. Schureg Lacoz moves up into third place, and Pietro will go second. But that is the podium as things stand at the moment. One young lady will be making her way there in just a second, because Kirsty Johnston will be knocking Schureg Lacoz off the top spot in a moment. Sarah Cohen will move down into fourth, and Nick Lucy will go down to third.
Well, Jonas is next to leave. That would be interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
Janelle Price, Fairy Dynamo, 32.3 in 6th position coming forward. Just 9 seconds, cover the top 6 coming forward on the leaderboard. That is going to be absolutely nothing here. We know it was going to be a time tester, but this is going to be a combination that can really lay down the challenge for the podium.
Yeah, she's very fast. She's a fast rider. Don't forget that this mare already won at the 5-star level. So, yeah.
I mean, 1.2 time penalties at Lemoulin in 2018 when they did take that victory. But while they've been out at national level this year and have, by all accounts, looked very good, we haven't seen Fairy Dynamo since Lemoulin last year. So something that we will talk about with Quality Purdy, Chris Burton as well. What we want to see in the Event Rider Masters is the very best riders taking on these tough courses. And from a cross-country point of view, and indeed in the other 2 phases as well, particularly her cross-country strength, this is the type of rider you want to watch. This is one of the best riders that we've had in the last 10 or 15 years. And to watch these two now take on the course is something that, this is what it's about for me.
Well, Janelle Price and Fairy Dynamo on course. We'll be watching them closely, but the lady they've got to beat heads to the top spot on the podium. It is Kirsty Johnston. Gillette goes down into a second, Clusie into third at the moment. Well, Janelle Price will catch up with her in a second, but the lady she's got to beat is Kirsty Johnston. Let's go to Charlotte.
Kirsty, absolutely amazing effort. The fastest so far. Is that time achievable, do you think?
I think somebody might get that time.
Any names?
Well, it would be the king of the speed. It would be Mr. Burton.
Got to be Burton. Anyway, let's talk about you. How did it feel? It looked fantastic. Well done.
I wasn't stylish, but she knows where the red and white flag is, and I just trust her.
I think you're doing yourself down a little bit there. I think it's a bit more impressive, but well done. Thank you so much, Kirsty.
Janelle Price very quickly through the water, the first of the waters. Fairy Dynamo, such a feisty mare, ears pricked. She knows and loves her job, was clear inside the time at Tattersalls last year en route to that victory in Lemoulin. So has made the time previously, and as Dern mentioned, exceptionally strong in her jumping form. Has never had a cross-country jumping penalty in this format of the sport at this level.
You can see the horse attitude, she has a very good natural balance when she gallops, so she doesn't need really to slow down before the fences, and just she doesn't lose time anyway. Look at the angle. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, easily done.
Very easily done. Janelle Price, Fairy Dynamo opens up on that accelerator again. She's on a score of 32.3. She can let the clock run 20 seconds over to still go ahead of Kirsty Johnston, but she wants to put the pressure on those coming behind her, because we've still the likes of Laura Collett, De Capo, Chris Burton, Quality Purdy, Tim Price, Wesco, Bill Leavitt, Shannon Dale Titan, and of course our leaders, Gemma Tattersall and Quick Look.
Et à nouveau, donc, un nouveau passage dans l'eau dans quelques instants.
Well, 15 cross-country rounds in a row now, goes all the way back to Semur 2014 in the 4-star long since Fairy Dynamo has had a jumping penalty.
Janelle easily clear of 10A and B. Goes on to the brush and ditch, as Pietro Sunday will be going into a second place on that podium. Kirsty Johnston on the top spots. Shereg makes his way down to third. Nick Lucy steps off the podium in his Event Rider Masters debut.
I think Janelle is probably the fastest now. Yeah. At this stage, she's at mid-course.
Well, crowds have been enjoying some really, really top-class action over the couple of days here, and they are building down at the podium as well as parts of the cross-country course as well. Janelle Price, Fairy Dynamo, going on to the big question up at 14 and 15. Now she would need to be jumping this first element, the Burko triple bar, with 2:25 left on the clock. So she's at 6 seconds down, but that is by far the quickest that we've seen so far. Now Now, she actually went down to that corner on 3, Laura.
Yeah, one less than the others. Yeah. And she gained, 1 second.
Well, every second
Okay,
counts.
Laura.
As here comes Laura Collett, the series leader with De Capo,
Yeah.
32.2. She was a little bit disappointed with her dressage, but delighted with that clear round in the show jumping. And she snuck ahead of Janelle after Janelle was picking up a time penalty in that second phase. So Laura Collett in 5th place coming forward, the reverse order cross country here in Arville. If you are just joining us, then a very warm welcome. Laurent Bousquet and Dan Byrne in the studio with me.
Always an interesting combination to see. We'll be back with them in a moment. Back with Farah Dianimo here. And Laurent, from a time point of view, what are you looking at, or where do you see this in terms of the rhythm?
I think Jonelle is fast, and the horse seems to be still fresh. So I guess, because we saw many horses, look at her, many horses who lost time, on the last loop, and she's still galloping well, so I guess she will be not far from the time.
She was 15 seconds at least down on the clock at the boat, so we will be watching her very closely. Laura Collett boldly through the first 2 elements of the water, almost too boldly, but she gets away with it at the corner, and De Capo straight as the die. Show me the flags, Mum, and I'll jump them.
Climb up the hill.
Quickly clear of the parallel 2. So Laura Collett, this a horse that wouldn't always be one of her fastest in the cross country, but he's certainly capable.
Un petit message.
Not one of her faster ones, but was inside the time at Bramham last time out.
Well, this is a moment because the series leader has a problem on the cross country. Laura Collett, 20 penalties. And Chris Burton has all to play for here. That is just where the pressure pays. And unfortunately, Laura pays the price.
Yeah, and as we said, there's 2 brushes with very strong angles, And the long way is not that long. Look at her. So that's something the rider has to solve.
She just lost a little bit of momentum. The horse just got a little bit off his line. Well, Janelle Price comes through to the final fence, and she is going to go to the top of the podium. Janelle Price, the one to beat with Farah Dianimo, and she is guaranteed a top 5 finish. Kirsty Johnston goes second, Pietro Sundike goes down into third.
Amazing from a series point of view, but even those points now are going to be very valuable for Janelle. Don't forget that, she's now off the mark big time now in terms of those points.
And actually, she picked up good points in Wiesbaden for a top 10 finish with Gravine de Rêve. She is going to be building here.
Exactly. It's a slightly different approach maybe to the town end way of just 3 podiums at the end. Small, consistent points. They're going to be valuable. Top 5 finish for Janelle here, and a big string of horses to go and attack those next 3 competitions.
Well, Laura Collett, De Capo, course all to themselves at the moment. And there is Bill Leavitt waiting down at the start.
This horse is fast,
Well, Shannondale Titan was on the podium here 12 months ago. Wilbury Wonder Pony strapped to Bill's back for a ride around Rudiger Schwarzer's cross-country track, owned by the Prentice family. This is a horse that they all absolutely adore. They've been huge fan favourites in the Event Rider Masters series. We were all absolutely delighted for Bill when he was on the podium here 12 months ago. Can he do it again 12 months later?
We'll see. Yesterday he jumped really well, on the short jumping course, which we said that it was a big one, and we'll see how he can, manage the time. But I guess he won't be far from the time. Look, good start.
Well, Bill in the Event Rider Masters tease yesterday was really making sure every effort to get on that podium. He doesn't mind if he has to knock a few people off in the process. If you haven't seen it, go to the Event Rider Masters social pages, because Bill's face is quite frankly one of the best things I've seen in it. It's brilliant, so go and check it out. Laura Collett, De Capo. She's not totally taken her foot off the gas, because this could still give her a top 10 finish, and if she has a top 10 finish done, she is still one to keep an eye on for the series.
Well, again, we mentioned it with Janelle, but her string of horses at the moment with London 52 as well, she's able to go to all these competitions and really, really challenge. Back with Bill Leavitt, we mentioned it already, but he was very, very close to the time here last year. We're currently, including Laura's 20 there, we're currently on a 64% clear rate. That's just below below the Event Rider Masters average, but the time penalties are what's catching people as expected. From the clears, 11.5 is the average time at the moment. So cleared, Laurent?
For me, he's outside the flags. You know, he's on the right side of the red flag. So,
well, we will get.
For me, it's something like.
We will get a replay of Bill in the water in just a second, but Laura Collett goes clear of the boat. So Laura Collett, carrying those 20 penalties, goes clear of the boat. She's in the latter part of her course.
Because, you know, Bill, you know, tried to avoid the run out on the left side, but it was too much on the right.
And we should be getting a replay of this now. We will certainly be seeing it soon, but...
Well, through the Wilbury Wonder Pony shoulder brushes, Bill Leavitt goes the direct line and gets it very easily. So Bill, at the moment, judged as jumping clear. We will take another look at that replay of the water in a moment, but it will of course be at the ground jury's discretion.
Big drama, Nicole. We'll definitely be getting more cameras on that, certainly from my point of view, and I think from Laurent as well. It was, it looked certainly on the other side of the flag, but we'll be looking forward to that replay because it's big drama. Certainly clear at the moment on what we're seeing online. It's clear at the moment from what we're hearing back, but we will be getting a look back at that. And don't forget, it's so valuable as well. There's a lot of prize money on stake here. There's a lot of valuable points on stake.
Well, Laura Collett heading towards home. She's over the time, and those 20 penalties as well drop her outside of the top 10. She'll be hoping somebody else doesn't complete. And actually, that could be a flag query at both of those elements as well. The ground jury really busy here in Arville this afternoon, but Laura Collett heads towards home with Da Capo. It'll be disappointment for her, but the pressure slightly off Chris Burton, who's due to come in a moment. Bill Leavitt in the water. Steps up one stride, easily clear of the brush.
Laura Collett.
Well, here is, in a moment, Bill Leavitt coming through the water for the first water. So, Lauren, I'm going to let you talk us through this. You
so
can
jump the first log very well. 1, 2, 4, 5 stride. That was good. Then he tried to avoid the run out on the left. Then it was definitely too much on the right. No.
15 penalties?
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, Laurent Bousquet in the studio with us. He's the coach for the Japanese eventing team. Says 15 penalties. We'll get that confirmed for you from our ground jury.
Well, 15 penalties again for Bill, Belton, Chatsworth and now Arville, all with Shannondale title. That certainly looks like 15 penalties. Yes. Yes. And
yeah, you can't say. It's difficult to say that all the horse body was inside the flag. We'll see what the ground jury will say.
Well, very big drama to come from that report, from that review. We'll let you know as soon as we have it. But Nicole is trying to get that information. I can see her frantically making calls.
Still clear on both.
And it has been confirmed. Bill Leavitt, 15 penalties, cannot challenge for the podium here. Janelle Price creeps ever closer to the top spot.
I mean, that's very... I mean, how far down has he dropped? We'll get that for you in a moment, but it's going to be a big tumble. Huge disappointment for Shannondale Titans team.
Well, here comes Tim Price and Wesco in third position coming forward. And Tim looking for his first Event Rider Masters win. Will we have two Prices on the podium here in Arville? Well, Wesco will certainly not be hanging around out on course. Now, though, let's go to see what wife Janelle has to say.
Janelle, I'm sorry, I know you're trying to watch husband Tim, who's out on the course. I've got to interrupt you for 1 minute. Please tell me how things went for you.
Oh, look, she was good. She's quite a busy little mare. She's a bit of a handful, a very good handful, but she is quite a feisty little thing. And certainly a twisty, turny track like this, you know, shows that a bit more. But, you know, she showed all her experience, and it's just fantastic to have her back at this level.
Fantastic to have you back. Thank you so much. And I'll let you watch Tim. Cheers.
Well, in order for Janelle to stay on the top spot, she wants Tim, to be more than 21 seconds over the time. I'm not sure she will want him to, because I think she'll be as competitive as they are, bidding for them to be on the top spot. Well, Tim Price is out on the course to the SAP shoulder brushes, but disappointment for one lady, and Laura Collett is going to give us her thoughts after that round.
Disappointment. He just looked awesome through the water. And then what happened at Wilbury?
Yeah, like he was feeling mega. Just
that. He needed so much control around that turn, and just where I had to take away from him, he just slightly switched off me. You know, wondered where he was going. So, you know, he never saw the fence, he never registered it as a jump. So yeah, I guess he was amazing around the rest. That's the disappointment, though, isn't it? You're amazing around the rest, and everything else is good. So really disappointing for you. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's horses, isn't it?
But as she said, the horse really was incredible around the rest of the course. So Tim Price and Westcote at the water at 10 AB. And this 5-star winning horse made that look really straightforward, not wasting a second.
No, it's very fast, you know, from the beginning. And don't forget that Tim won, you know, last week the 5-star class.
And the week before, or the 2 weeks before at Le Moulin.
Yeah,
He's in very good form.
So in a very good form. And I would bet on him,
and he
for the podium.
He is, of course, the world #1 as well. The horses being pulled down very quickly at the end of their round. Bill Leavitt, Shannondale Titan with those 15 penalties inside the top 10, but disappointment for Bill to not be able to challenge for a podium finish. So let's just give you an update as to where we are at the moment. The jumping here is causing plenty of problems. Janelle Price is the one to beat with Ferro Dynamo. Kirsty Johnston in second, WTTL opposition Skylaw, and Pietro Sunday, Ruby de Klerk, currently sitting in third. Tim Price in third position coming to the cross country is out on course, and he is the quickest that we've seen, I think, coming up to the Burko triple bar, and he is well up on the clock. Tim Price is looking very, very good out on course. Not taking any chances, Lauren.
It's really easily done, you know. It doesn't lose any second, you know, anywhere. So, yeah, I bet he will be very close to the time.
Well, there is the man we need to watch. Edgar ratings dub him the fastest rider in the world. It's for a very good reason. Christopher Burton, a winner here 12 months ago, rides at Clara Pool's Quality Purdy. 29.7 their starting score, in second position coming forward. Just quickly, why is he the fastest rider in the world?
Nicole, there's no way I can do it quickly. If I was to give you any number, I would say at this level of the sport, he has taken 16 different horses inside the time. That is something that we do not see with any other rider. Comes nowhere near to that. Nobody is bulletproof here, and that's the thing I have to stress. Quality Purdy is going to have some question marks. He hasn't been out in a long time. Chris, we know as a rider, is amazing, but there is no guarantees on this track. If he was to make the time here, Nicole, I would say this would be one of the best ever. We've seen it. The top horses have taken it on. They haven't done it. If he could do it, I think it would be one of his biggest speed achievements. But let's get back to Tim and Westco.
Well, Tim and Westco, 30.5 their starting score, and just over a minute to get home. They would need to be jumping a hanging log at 55 seconds. He is up on the clock.
He's fast. He's really fast.
And he's making it look really economical and easy, Laura.
Yeah, very.
Well, here comes Chris Burton to the SAP water.
19:20.
And the amazing point, you know, is that, as Dom said, he's the fastest rider in the world, but it never seemed to be in a hurry, you know.
The art of cross-country riding. Tim Price, Westco. We're going to see them home
30
now.
30 seconds to complete.
30 seconds on the clock as he comes to the step up. He doesn't want to hang around still because he's got this real
He would get it.
Real question at the end of the course. He's got to just take his time here. Tim Price is heading towards the finish line. Are we going to see our first horse inside the time? Is it going to be the new world #1? He clears the last. He's through the DHL finish line. Tim Price, Westco go to the top of the podium. They're guaranteed a podium finish. Janelle Price goes down to second, and that was a masterclass from the world #1.
Massive moment, massive moment. I don't think we've had a Price win in ERM yet.
We haven't.
And look, two of them on the podium now, and everything to play for. Chris Burton, Quality Purdy on track. One has made the time. Could Quality Purdy make the time? He needs to keep the pressure on now.
He really does.
Yeah, tell you what, if he doesn't have any incident, he will.
Well, that's the big one. That's the big asterisk. If he doesn't have an incident, there are those those question marks, of course. We've had some of the top riders, Bill Leavitt, Laura Collett, Alexander Bragg. You know, we've seen people run out here, and we've talked about it last year as well. There is no guarantees of Quality Purdy. We haven't seen him out in a long time.
Well, disappointment for Bill Leavitt. He's with Paul Tapner.
Oh, Bill, mate, you were going to get on the podium. I'm so devastated for you. What happened?
Well, it's been the nemesis of my years, collecting flags, and I collected another one at the corner on the right-hand side. He made up probably more ground than I thought over the first two obstacles, and then, and then I just, to get him back on the line, and then, it just didn't work out. There wasn't much room there. He got there on the 4 strides easy, but it just drives me mad.
Straight over the flag and got those 15 penalties. Total devastation for you, but you'll get on that podium, I'm sure, one day again.
Well, that's the plan, and the horse went fantastic again. He sort of jumped his way the whole way round, dug deep when he had to. So I'm really pleased with him. More frustrated that I, didn't present him at the right spot on that last combination.
Thanks, mate.
Well, Chris Burton, if we can see that again in just a second, we will do, but Gemma Tattersall and Quick Look away from the start. Our leaders after the first 2 phases on course, clear of the first.
Well, I've been looking at Chatsworth form in terms of time. It's one of the other big tracks, and Quick Look, of course, has that very strong Chatsworth form, a former winner there. They've been on and close to the time there on a number of occasions. Back to Chris Burton.
Well, we're just going to see this, Lauren. Talk us through it, because he gets him very close to this final element. Just taking a bit of decoration? Would he be penalised?
No, it's not a decoration, it's a pole, it's a Frenchable pole, so I would say 11 points.
Well, we will be waiting.
That's unbelievable. That's scenario, How could you believe that?
I was hoping it was. I'd hoping you were going to say decoration, because if it's 11 penalties, it's a massive moment. Not just, it brings them both back into the series, but for this leg, I've been tipping them as the favourite. The second favourite is on course right now. We're looking at them, and they still have 15 penalties.
Well, Gemma Tattersall, our leader after the first 2 phases, heartbreak in the new water here at Arville.
She's out.
And 20 penalties. Gemma Tattersall will not be topping the podium here. It is drama to the end. And just confirmation through that the lower rail of that final element doesn't count. So Chris Burton is still cleared. Gemma Tattersall has put her hands up and retired. So here it is. This is the problem for our leader again.
Yeah. You can see that the horse was not really straight, on this corner.
Well, Chris Burton was on the podium here 12 months ago. Is he going to repeat that feat? Look at the time. He just needs to kick on towards the last and to clear it easily. The horse looking a little bit tired, but Chris Burton, Quality Purdy, are going to top the podium again here in Arville. The clock ticks down. He was never in doubt. He was never nervous. Chris Burton retains his Arville title. He goes to the top of the series standings. This is a huge moment in the 2019 series, Doug.
This is where he pulled away last year, and very likely where he could pull away again in 2019. Put a time challenge in front of Chris Burton. It looked so easy all the way through. I've been on a complete roller coaster of emotions. But that is now, Nicole, 4 and 5 star level since 2010. That is 50 horses, 50 times inside the time at the very top levels of the sport. And it's 16 different horses he's done it on, but 50 I have here, 4 and 5 star level since 2010. The very top, the challenging nature of that. Think about that, 16 different horses, but 50 times. The fastest man in the world, you don't need me to tell you again, but we've had confirmation, so much rhythm, so much control around.
Yeah, definitely. And he's, as I said, he's never in a hurry. It's always very clean, accurate, and you can see that the horses, they all understand, what he wants.
Well, Christopher Burton is the Arville champion again here in 2019. He has produced one of the cross-country rounds of the day, one of the cross-country rounds of his career, Dom, because we cannot forget this mare has been off of international competition for almost 11 months.
An incredible performance here, because we've talked about it last year and this year. It has caught some of the top riders in the world. Like there at the end, we're talking about Gemma Tattersall, we're talking about Bill Leavitt, Laura Collett. They were all challenged. What I would say is just think about what we've even seen in the Event Rider Masters with this particular rider, even in the last couple of runs. Lawtown Chloe stepping up for the first time to that level of cross country with Chris Burton. He takes her inside the time at Wiesbaden. Today, you know, managing the horse, getting the horse back and inside the time again. There is nobody who comes close to him at this level.
Well, there is Tim Price knocking wife Janelle Price down into second. Oh, how romantic. Janelle will go down in second. She actually finishes third in total. Tim Price will be second, so they can stay there for the moment.
Price family is on podium, yeah.
They are absolutely brilliant. Kirsty Johnston goes down into third. She will finish eventual fourth place. But that is the podium as things stand. Chris Burton, of course, making his way from the finish. He is our winner here in a moment, and we will be taking great pleasure, no doubt, in knocking his great mate Tim Price down into second. Well, what an afternoon of cross-country action here in Arville. It has been drama from the very outset. The first combination on course had problems, and the last did as well. Heartbreak for Gemma Tattersall. My goodness, Charlotte, I hope your nerves are holding up.
Nicole, I am feeling, I have to say, I think my heart rate's gone to dangerous levels. Tim Price, we're just saying, I'm not sure I can take anymore. That's why you're world number one, isn't it?
The good horses make you look good, don't they? Because I've missed him because of moments like that. He's just so exceptional. I was just saying to Janelle that the corner in the first water, I couldn't see the line, but he was on it. He was like, don't worry, I can see it. I'm like, well, I can't quite see it.
I think you do a bit more than that, don't you, Tim? Come on.
No, look, he's just a fantastic horse. So of course it's a partnership, but and we've been together a long time. So it's great to showcase that at places like here. So no, it was great fun. Nice to tick all the boxes and come home healthy.
I don't envy you going home with Janelle tonight. She might be a bit cross.
Well, it is brilliant to have two Prices on the podium. Fantastic result for Kirsty Johnston as well. And we are just gathering ourselves here in the studio. Laurent Bousquet and Dan Byrne with me here. And we're waiting for Chris Burton to head on down to take his top spot in the podium. Laurent, was the course causing as many problems as you perhaps expected? Did it cause more problems than you expected?
No, I really thought that when I walked it, yesterday and this morning, I thought it was really tough. And you have all these questions all around and until the second last. And we saw some, Renards on the second last corner. So, it's good. And it's a very clever course.
Well, breaking news coming in. This is a huge moment in the series, in the leg, because it has been confirmed Chris Burton activated the MIM clip at fence 8, which we didn't see. We'll try and get that for you. And therefore, Tim Price is the winner here in Arville. This is absolutely huge. We will...
On the Oxa.
Well, Laurent told us that it wasn't a decoration. I had my heart set on a decoration. You can see on screen now that something is being confirmed down there. Paul Tapner is talking to the riders. Is it being confirmed to them? It looks like it, Nicole. That is a massive moment. This series is wide open again, and oh God, no! I'm shocked. But we have a Price winner.
And the one thing I would say is, I wonder whether there will be any sort of inquiry to our ground jury from Chris Burton. We will get it confirmed, but at the moment, it is Tim Price that has won here in Arville. It would be the first time we've ever had a Price winner. Look, Dan, in terms of drama in the Event Rider Masters series, this is surely one of the most dramatic legs. From the dressage, the show jumping, the cross country, it has just been packed full of surprises.
To be honest, I think the first two phases played out much as we wanted, but I would say we knew Sunday afternoon was going to be good. It's what we want in eventing, with the top riders taking on the track, taking on a range of challenges. The heat today was another thing that we've only barely touched upon. But the roller coaster I've been on in the last half an hour, from Laura's round all the way through, we've been up and down, and then you tell me, Laurent, that it was a decoration, or I thought it was a decoration. I was delighted, Chris Burton going to win. Now we have Tim Price, another great winner, but a complete turnaround. We're waiting on confirmation of that now. Nicole she has phones, she has screens.
I have had everything going through at the moment, and it is confirmed. Chris Burton, he would go onto the podium with those penalties, so he isn't out of the series hunt, but it means it is a Price 1-2 at the top. It is 100% confirmed, so if you are just joining us, appreciate it's been a little bit dramatic. We will just review it for you. Chris Burton, at a fence we didn't see out on course, activated a safety device. Therefore, he's been added 11 penalties to his score. He was inside the time cross country. That means that he actually finishes in 3rd place. You couldn't write it, could
Nicole
you?
is speechless. It's rare that we get Nicole speechless. We've got an interview. It looks like an interview.
Well, I think it's time we go to Charlotte and just catch up with everything down at the podium. Drama, drama, drama.
Hello. Drama, drama, drama indeed. It's been completely insane. Even the course designer, he reckoned 1 or 2 inside the time and clear. We just had 1. We did also have 2. We had Chris Burton. But incredibly, last minute, everything changes. So, ladies and gentlemen, in 3rd place, Arville 2019, please welcome to the podium, Chris Burton. Chris. Chris, a quick word. Were you aware of what had happened until you got back to the finish?
Yeah, I heard it. I heard the timber go down, and I sort of tried to look back to see it. I feel very sad for the horse because I think she didn't hit it hard enough. But ultimately, we respect the rules, and the MIM clip is a really great system and a good rule for safety of horses and riders. And I'm still lucky enough to be on the podium, and behind these 2 is no mean feat.
Absolutely not. And what an incredible podium it is, because in 2nd place, we have Janelle Price. Janelle, congratulations, everyone. Janelle Price, 2nd place. Janelle, your smile says it all.
Yeah, look, it's been a while. I've been a bit absent from this podium, so it's nice to be back, and and especially with this little mare.
And you were physically removed from the podium by your husband there. In 1st place, Tim Price and Wesco.
Thank you very much, Charlotte.
Say something else. Come on, Tim. How are you feeling?
No, excited. I haven't won one, so this is my first time on the podium at the end of the competition, which is quite surreal, really. Took a mistake by the great maestro to my right here, but that's the sport, and that's how it can go sometimes. So bad luck, Berto. But I'm really happy and super proud of Wesco. He's making a little bit of a comeback this last year and a bit, and this is a great way to get this season started for him.
Absolutely. World number 1 and Arville 2019 champion, Tim Price. Well done. And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the official prize giving for leg 3 of the Event Rider Masters 2019 here at the Concours Complet d'Arville. To present 3rd place, please welcome Chris Stone, chairman of ERM. Receiving prize money of €9,500, riding Quality Purdy, owned by Claire Poole, representing Australia, Chris Burton. And please welcome to the podium for presenting 2nd place, Barbara de Leaderkerke, owner and event director of Concours Complet d'Arville, receiving prize money of €13,500, riding Fairy Dynamo, owned by Trism Rickards. I hope I pronounced that right. I do apologise if I haven't. Representing New Zealand, rider Janelle Price. Now, please welcome Henrique Pitts, Head of Equestrian Sponsorship at SAP, to present the winner of Leg 3 of the Event Rider Masters 2019, prize money of €18,000, riding the very gorgeous Wesco, owned by Windrush Equestrian Foundation, representing New Zealand, Tim Price. The owner of Wesco, the Windrush Equestrian Foundation, will also receive a 2-night stay at the Monarch Hotel in Ireland, compliments of Monarch Elite Event Horse Sales.
It has been drama every single step of the way. Tim Price takes leg 3 in the 2019 Event Rider Masters Series. He tops the podium for the very first time in his career. It is his 3rd time on an Event Rider Masters podium, and it is his long-term campaigner, Wesco, who he takes the top spot with. Brilliant for wife Janelle to be down into 2nd, and that drama with Chris Burton, the frangible device activated out on course. It still gives him enough points to go to the top of the leaderboard in the series. Disappointment for Laura Collett, she goes down into 3rd, but Janelle Price, look at her, Sarah Cohen, Bill Leavitt, all really getting very good points here, and they will be looking to build on that in Jardy in just a few weeks' time. We'll be in Jardy in France for leg 4 of the series on the 13th and 14th of July. So that is how the series looks after here in leg 3 in Arville. But let's take a look at the final leaderboard of the event. Tim Price wins, Janelle Price second. It is a Price domination at the top of the leaderboard. Chris Burton, quality Purdy, all of that drama, but still gets him good series points. An eye-catcher for me, Jireg Lacoste in his Event Rider Masters debut. Esprit de la Loge finishes in 6th. Watch out for them in the future. Sarah Cohen and Treason also inside the top 10. Drama down the bottom end of the leaderboard. Laura Collett de Capo picking up 20 penalties. Gemma Tattersall, quick look, retiring out on course, having had that problem at the first water. They were our dressage and show jumping leaders, but deciding to call it a day after that early problem on course. It has been drama, it has been thrills, it has been spills every single step of the way here in Arville. We hope you've enjoyed all of the action. A huge thank you to all of our guests. We look forward to seeing you again in Jardy in a few weeks' time for leg 4. We'll see you in France, but thank you at home for watching. Enjoy the rest of the action.
Yeah, but you put more on the hand.
En 2014 à Caen et en 2018.
Burn it in the fire.